What is up, guys? Welcome to another video. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Matthew Kruger, and obviously this is a different type of video. It's a big story time video. I'll be sharing you guys my testimony of how I kind of just found my faith again in Jesus, and what he delivered me from, how he changed my life before, obviously. Shout out to one of my friends that I asked a Q&A on my story just for people to ask questions, and he asked how I came to God, and that kind of it was on my heart all day to share my testimony. So here we are. Gotta put the glasses on, you know what I'm saying, gotta hit maximum flow state, because this video might be a little longer than expected. We're locked in. Okay, so I'll get right into it. So pretty much right now, for context, I'm 20 years old and I'm in school right now. I turned 21 literally in 1 week. It's May 2nd. I turned 21 on May 9th, so that's pretty exciting. But anyways, my whole entire childhood, pretty much, I grew up in a Christian household. It was me, my mom, my dad, and my older sister by 2 years, and we would go to church pretty frequently, every Sunday. And as a kid, I didn't really care about church or anything. I just kind of went because I had to, and I didn't really pay attention to any of the things I were taught. To be honest, I was not confused, but just my mind was elsewhere. Let's just say that. Probably thinking about the Steelers playing, because I remember going home and I was always looking forward to watching the Steelers play every Sunday. Watch football with my dad or play outside, play catch with him, whatever. But yeah, I just wanted to be a kid, play video games, play outside, play sports, and I didn't really know who Jesus was. I understood him, I didn't understand him, but I knew who he was, but I didn't know him, if that makes sense, right? So about around the age of 10 years old, we stopped going to church. I don't really know why, to be honest. I never really questioned it when I was younger, to be honest, but I think things just got busy with life, and as a family we just stopped going every Sunday. So yeah, just like I said, play video games, play sports, be a kid, whatever. But throughout middle school and high school, I was definitely got addicted to pornography at a young age, which made me to look at women very lustfully, even at a young age, right? I was, to be honest, the kids in my school, we would talk about that like it's normal. We'd be talking about, sexual things that kids should not be talking about, let's just say that. But society just really kind of normalizes it, and it's honestly very sad, especially as someone that's gone through it, right? But yeah, I was very lustful, and I would say angry when things didn't go my way when I was in middle school, high school. You could say prideful maybe a little bit, and definitely not confident though because of that. And pretty much just lived lukewarm throughout middle school and high school. So getting into, this is a big jump kind of, but around my senior year of high school, junior to senior year of high school, I'd be hanging out with my friends, my football team friends as well, my teammates, and we go to gas stations and we'd be just shoplifting, stealing like it's normal, because it was very easy. We got away with it, no one to catch us. Free snacks, free drinks. We didn't think any much of it. But going into my senior year, started dating this girl, and we met at homecoming. To give you context, the relationship lasted about 10 months throughout my senior year. But to talk on that, it was a good high school relationship. I'll give it that. But like I said, it was very high schooly, and especially as me, as a man that didn't really have a relationship with God. I'd pray to God throughout my whole entire life, but it was out of selfish reasoning, if that makes sense. Never an actual prayer that a Christian should pray. It was more so for things to go my way when not everything's gonna go your way in life. But yeah, I was dating this girl, and pretty much, to sum it up, I put her on a pedestal above God, and I definitely cherished her, loved her at the time, and just would go out of my way and just do whatever I can to just make her happy, because that made me happy. But I wasn't serving the Lord at all. I wasn't pursuing him really. Like, I'll be honest, I feel like I was very maybe performative, you could say, and just like, I wouldn't say a fake Christian, but like very lukewarm, because I'll be posting, I'll post Bible verses in high school, like on my Instagram story, and because I like them, but I never really like opened my Bible and actually read and understood a lot of things in the Bible compared to like now, obviously. But yeah, I never like lead her in a way that's biblical, right? I never like led her to like lust or anything, things of that sort. But like, I just didn't like know how to lead a woman properly, and like actually like, in a biblical sense, a man should be leading a woman. I didn't really do that like in that sense. But yeah, senior year, yeah, like I said, I was still stealing from gas stations, whatever. And in March of my senior year, I went down to FAU to go visit the school, and I absolutely loved it. And to give you context, my ex-girlfriend was a junior in high school. I was a senior, meaning that would be a year apart. And if I went down to Florida for school, we would be in a long-distance relationship. And after that visit down to Florida, I made a decision that I wanted to go to school there. So I remember praying this prayer though in March. This is important for later on after the testimony. I prayed to God that I was just kind of things, something like this, where I was like, God, I don't know why I want to go down to Florida. I have no clue why. Like, why is my heart calling me to go down there, right? Besides like the weather and the beach, and then like, the nice things down there, why do I want to go to Florida so bad? And I just asked for God to answer that for me, to reveal that for me, some way or another. And just remember that prayer for later on, if you can. And then I prayed that to God, and obviously I made that decision with my ex as well, that we talked about it, that we'll make long distance work. And graduated high school, and then I was also working at a job at a grocery store. And obviously stealing from the gas stations led me to stealing from my own work. And pretty much for like I wouldn't say the whole time working there, I would say like half the time working there. I was probably working there for like 6 to 8 months maybe. So for about 3 to 4 months, I would scan half the items, steal the other half, and just get away with it, because like there wasn't no sensor at the employee exit, so I got away with it all the time. And I remember this was in July, in the summer. I came back from a Disney trip with my friend, and it was my first shift back. I got like 3 protein drinks, some body wash, something else, right? Scanned half of them, bought the other half, walked out the employee exit. As I'm walking out, this guy, he's like, hey, I'm part of the loss theft prevention team. Can I see your receipt? I showed him my receipt, and obviously I knew I was cooked right then and there. We go to my manager's office. I told her, just at that point I was caught, so I was like, I'm gonna be honest. I've been stealing for like the past 4 months from you guys. I don't know how much it was, to be honest. It wasn't like a criminal amount, thank God, but obviously it probably was like $100 to $200 worth of groceries, random stuff, obviously. But yeah, so obviously I got laid off / fired from that job. And I remember being so like there was like a hole in my chest, in terms of like I was very fearful of what would happen. And I was 18 at the time, meaning I could face more consequences because I'm an actual adult. And I didn't have to tell my parents about it. They don't know it. I lied to my ex-girlfriend at the time, and my parents, that I quit the job because they couldn't schedule me, whatever. So yeah, that was like kind of like a hard time that whole entire week, just a hole in my chest. And pretty much I just wrote an apology letter to my boss and apologized, saying I understand that I have to suffer the consequences if needed. Yeah, she waived it off, but I forgot to tell you guys, but in the office, when I got caught, I had to go back to the office and talk to my manager and just confess pretty much. They were running an investigation for the past 3 to 4 months to like see what I stole. But obviously I was looking it up and stuff, like I don't think they had camera footage from that far back to see, but they said they were running an investigation or whatever. But obviously my boss just like waved it off, I guess. She probably realized I was a young kid and, you know, we make mistakes. So, you know, praise God for that, obviously. And I learned my lesson and never steal again. Parents might be watching this like, what the hell he didn't tell us, whatever. But only like my closest friends know this, and, you know, people that I've talked to. But yeah, that's that about the stealing incident. I remember that whole week just praying to God to, you know, make something happen, make a miracle happen. So because I thought I was gonna go to court or go to jail or something. Like, I was overthinking hella. Obviously it wasn't crazy like I stole like a damn car or something, but I didn't know what would happen. But yeah, that happened, and I got a job like 2 weeks later anyways, somehow, for the rest of the summer to make money, because I didn't get it didn't go as a criminal record, so it doesn't like show up on a background check or anything, so thank God for that too. But yeah, going into the end of my relationship, which is going into my freshman year of college. 3 weeks in, right, things are going all right, but then we kind of started drifting apart, and she ended up breaking up with me. And obviously, as I'm very thankful, right, I had a great childhood growing up, I would say, for the most part, and I didn't go through a lot of loss or heartache or anything of that sort. So obviously my first breakup was going to torch the hell out of me, and I was very lost, depressed, broken, and didn't know what to do with myself, right? I was out in Florida. All this shit is new to me. New environment, new people. Just me and my roommates that I actually ended up being good friends with anyways. But yeah, I didn't know what to do. And I just cried myself to sleep, you know, nights waking up in tears sometimes because of that. And I even she texted me a week later how I was doing, and I texted her back with some petty ass response because I was just broken inside. I was with my roommate, and we were messing around, and I was like, shit, might as well. And I pretty much torched the hell out of us getting back together, and thankfully that happened because I needed it anyways. And pretty much pushed her away a lot further because I was disrespectful with that response. But anyways, I was seeking community because I felt so empty inside. I had this void in my heart. I felt like my heart just drained blood, and there's nothing here. I never felt like that in my life. And as to anyone that's gone through a breakup, you know what it's like. It absolutely sucks. And especially the first one, I'd say, if it was a good relationship. And yeah, I was seeking community, so I go on Instagram, look up Christian clubs on at FAU, because that was the only thing I knew. Might as well just look up Christian clubs. I don't know why, just in my heart it told me to. And I filled out this interest form, a Google form in their bio, and I ended up meeting this guy named Cannon, got coffee with him, pretty much talked to him, told him my story, whatever. And he's pretty much a spiritual mentor at the time. He led the club he was the student leader of the club. Good friend of mine. He's married. He's a little bit older, but yeah, he played a big part in getting me to dive deeper into my faith, to take it more serious, and to actually start walking with God. And through that club, I met my best friends, that I'm still friends with now. I call up and check on here and there. I never thought I would meet friends like that. Compared to high school, my high school friends, I have probably a couple that I actually hang out with or talk to still, but everyone else are just completely moved on from them, because I don't know, high school friendships I feel are very fake, compared to the people you meet in college are actually real. And I found the fact that I found people that were relatable to me, in terms of we're Christian but we love fitness, we love the gym, we love self-improvement, we love getting better, and even the same hobbies and stuff, truly amazing. But yeah, I started going to that club more and going to church, going to Bible studies with friends and Cannon, which was the guy that I met at the club, or the spiritual mentor, I like to say. Bible studies, this and that. But my whole freshman year, I was still like 1 foot in, 1 foot out in terms of, because I wasn't healed from that breakup yet, like fully healed, and I would pretty much fill that void with going on dates with girls or talking to girls. Right, I never like slept with them or like hooked up in a sense. Like nothing like that really. Maybe like probably only one or two of them, like you could say hook up, but not like having sex, if that makes sense. But yeah, pretty much just like dabbling with that my whole entire freshman year of school. But I came back from college back home to Pittsburgh in May. I was talking to my mom about it, like about my spiritual journey, whatever, and I asked her if we wanted to go to church, and her and I went to church, and then we loved it. Right, we found a church near our house, and then we got my whole family going to church again, which was just so fulfilling and amazing to see, us as a family, going back to God, right? Like, not saying we weren't Christian, or my parents aren't Christian, but they definitely just like feel like faded away and lost sight of their faith. But all praise to God for what He did to me to, just be that like pull my parents and my sister to the Lord again. Very just very thankful for that. But yeah, and then I wasn't healed from that breakup. It took me like 10 months to heal, because what made me heal was actually that summer I found out she was dating another guy, and ironically, he goes to my church, and he has the same birthday as me, by the way. He's a great guy, by the way, so I'm like very thankful that she found a man of God. Let's just say that, because this is one thing that I prayed for when I was going through that heartbreak, that she would find someone that would treat her right, better than I did. Right, not saying that I treated her bad, I just didn't treat her as a man of God should treat a woman. But yeah, I found that out, so that kind of hurt a little bit. So I remember going on walks after work during like sunset. I'll be talking to God, being like, Lord, remove all my feelings I have for this girl. And He removed all those feelings very quickly. I would say that for sure. And I felt so free. The first time in like a year, 10 months to a year, I felt free from that breakup. Right, I felt alive. I actually felt like myself. And like, it's crazy, because my whole, like, when I came back like my freshman year for break, winter break and spring break, I was so broken. Like, you could see it in my eyes, you could see it when I talked to my parents, my sister. Like, I could barely speak to them, because that's all I was thinking about, still, but yeah, I felt free, felt like myself, and felt like a new person. Like wow, the chains are gone, and I'm not chained down to my broken heart anymore. Right, it's like the Holy Spirit just filled my heart with so much love when that happened. Like, that prayer got answered so quick. And going into my sophomore year is where like I really fell in love with Jesus, because I found a new club called Crew at FAU, and I just remember worship. First time going there with my friends. There's like 200 to 300 college students in this one room, praising the Lord, worshiping, and it was just such like a beautiful moment. Like, I know I teared up during that worship session, and one of my friends did, and it was like just wow, so beautiful. And kind of start actually taking my faith serious. Right, I met more friends that were further in the faith, doing Bible studies with them, learning from them. Iron sharpens iron, as one man sharpens another man, something like that. Proverbs 27:17, something like, maybe. But anyways, yeah, sophomore year was a big leap of faith for sure. And I took like 3 months from posting on my fitness account, just to like take a break from posting, and to just like take the Lord serious. And got baptized about a year ago in March, last year in March at the beach. Very, very, very cool experience, and amazing experience for sure. But yeah, now here we are, right now talking to you guys. But obviously after my sophomore year, I, wanted to bodybuild. I wanted to step on stage for the first time to start my bodybuilding journey. So I reached out to one of my friends that actually brought up or made me make this video tonight pretty much. He coached me for my first bodybuilding prep, and it was on my heart to just do it because I was transferring from FAU back here to Pittsburgh to be closer to home to save a lot more money, and it was just the perfect time to start my first bodybuilding show. So we did that. Prep goes well, goes amazing. I never felt closer to the Lord. I felt so thankful, so much gratitude during prep because I just such a thankful feeling to just be wake up every single day, go to work, eat my meals, do my cardio, work out, live such a disciplined life for the Lord, and then enjoy nature, go on hikes, go to the lake with my family, my friends, go fishing, go paddleboarding, pretty much that whole summer. Then bodybuilding show went well. I wouldn't say well. It was fun, but I didn't place the way I wanted to. But it was definitely a journey for sure that I will never forget. And obviously, we're gonna hop on stage in a year and a half from now probably. I'm very excited for that. But yeah, that started after my bodybuilding show. I felt like a whole new person, right? Obviously through the Lord and through being so disciplined, my confidence just skyrocketed because I was never able to talk to a camera a year ago or even before prep or even during prep in a sense. But I don't know where the confidence came from, what happened to my heart. But now I'm gonna speak to camera and be myself and just don't give a shit, and it's such an amazing feeling once you get past that barrier because I never thought I'd be able to speak and be good at speaking to a camera and just be honest, right? And yeah, started my first coaching business. A very small business, but I'm very thankful for the clients that I've worked with and the clients I have now. And I got a sales internship obviously for this summer, so that's very exciting. Starts in a month. Finishing up my junior year of college right now currently. Got 2 semesters left. About to be out of here, graduated, and hopefully moving somewhere in the country. Maybe Texas, maybe Carolinas, Florida, wherever the Lord takes me, right? But yeah, pretty much through all of that, right? That one prayer that I mentioned, if you remember, right? I didn't know why I was going to Florida, but I asked the Lord to reveal it to me, right? And that prayer took probably 1 to 2 years, a little over 2 years for me to realize why I had to go down there, because God had to humble me from that woman, right? I put her on a pedestal, like I said, and God, obviously, He's gonna humble a man if he puts anything as an idol, even another person, even if it's a woman too. And He did that. And going down to Florida was the reason why I came to God, right? It's the reason why I met the friends that I met. It's the reason why I was able to hop into my first bodybuilding prep, because went down there to transfer up here, right? It all worked out, everything worked out, right? And that leads to my favorite Bible verse, John 13:7. It was when Jesus was washing the disciples' feet, and Peter was like, "Why are you washing my feet? I should be serving you. Why is God serving me?" It makes no sense. But Jesus came to serve in the flesh, right? God came to serve in the flesh. And Jesus said, the Bible verse is, "You don't realize what I'm doing now, but later you will understand," right? And it's just such an amazing verse, because you don't ever know what God's doing in your life, even when you're really broken, even when you're really lost and you're so far from the Lord and you don't know what to do with yourself. You're going to understand why things happened the way it did, and you can look back at it one day and be so thankful that it happened the way it did. And I'm very thankful, and I would not have it any other way, because I learned so much through the breakup, through the heartbreak, through all the pain I was feeling, through all the talking stages that I went through, even when I was with Christ. Obviously I talked to girls too, and just learned a lot of setting my standard high for my next, hopefully and final relationship, because obviously I'm dating to marry. And just as a man, I just want to encourage you guys to set your standard high no matter what. Never settle for a woman that, will never actually support your goals, that won't want to bring you peace, that doesn't serve the Lord, obviously, as well. Like, it's so important as a man to be, equally yoked in a sense of, you and your partner are on the same level of faith, and you want to run that race together with the Lord to, your eternal life in heaven, right? That's pretty much that goal with marriage. It's a covenant, right, of two people. But yeah, it's pretty much a summary of my testimony. I would say definitely, like, the Lord delivered me from lust, very, like, addicted to, like, not addicted to, but, like, just, like, heavily lustful before I came to God again. Even, like, the first 10 months I said I was very lustful as well, but, like, delivered me from lust, delivered me from, a jealous heart, an angry heart, whatever it may be, that the Lord had to just drive out of me, right? Whatever, like, the Lord would drive anything out of you if you ask him to, over and over again. But yeah, it's just, like, in a sense of, like, why do I believe in God? Why do I believe in Jesus? Because all that I went through, right? All those things that I went through, none of it was able to satisfy me. None of it was able to bring me the joy, the peace, and happiness. None of the talking stages, none of, the little hookups, or even the relationship, or, anything, right? None of it will satisfy you. Never. It just leaves you more empty, leaves you more drained than ever, and you will feel so far from God if, you keep digging that hole deeper, right? And I'm very thankful I never got into the party lifestyle, because that's the one thing that church protected me from growing up, is I never, like, just wanted to engage in the party lifestyle, drinking, smoking, hooking up with people. I never really understood it, and I don't really enjoy it, right? I've had my taste in it, but it was never meant for me. And I'm rather saying on a Friday night, editing a YouTube video, or talking to a camera, or watching a movie, or reading, like, something like that, to be honest, or at the gym, obviously. But yeah, like, there's just no way, like, I can never deny Jesus and God after what I went through. Like, even if it's not a crazy, like, it could be crazy testimony to some people, but, like, compared to, like, what I heard, like, I'm not saying you should compare testimonies to other people, but what I'm saying is, like, even the littlest things that you go through, God will always pull through. God will always provide. God will always, answer your prayer, right? It may take time for him to answer that prayer, but you keep praying and you keep knocking on that door, and God will open it if it's meant for you. I promise you that right now. And you need to just open your heart to the Lord. You have to, once, like, the reason why I was so open to the Lord, to be honest, was because I was so broken, because my heart was broken, right? We all know, any Christians out there, right? God is close to the brokenhearted. And that's, like, very, very true. You'll definitely feel his presence when you're broken at your lowest moment in life, and you have no choice just to choose him, and he will like, be the best decision that you ever make in your life, I promise you. Like, even in an apologetic standpoint of, how is Jesus real? There's 10 manuscripts on Alexander the Great, right? 10 to 40, I think. And we're so quick to believe him. We're so quick to believe all these lies on the news. But when it comes to Jesus, why do people struggle believing in him when there's over 5,000 Greek and Hebrew manuscripts of Jesus, that he was alive, that he resurrected, that the tomb was actually empty, and that his disciples were willing to die for him? No man would be willing to die for someone if it wasn't true. Like, make it make sense. So many people just, or ignorant, or just can't wrap their mind around Jesus and around God. But, like, that's why testimonies are a thing. You hear testimonies from all these people, and, like, your faith will grow stronger, right? And, like, you, as a Christian man, you just have to get to the point to where, like, your faith is probably the most important thing you will ever have in your life, because it's the only thing that will ever matter, right? All these things are temporary in life. The cars, the women, the houses, the money, the trips, it's all temporary. And I'm not saying to not, live a good life, to not, make money, to have a nice car, have those nice things, because God wants you to have those nice things if He can trust you with them. But don't idolize it. Don't put it on a pedestal above God, because He will humble you one way or another, like He did with me, with my ex-girlfriend, right? Don't ever put the materialistic things or the things of this world above God, because He will quickly remind you that the only thing you need is Him. But anyways, that's pretty much it for the video, my story of how I came to Christ and what He delivered me from, right? And how He just changed and transformed my heart to, just be so thankful, to be humble, to, not be prideful in what I do, and to just always thank the Lord, to always have so much gratitude and love for Him, and to love like Jesus is probably the most important thing that I can take away from the Lord, is to love like Him, right? Have sacrificial love. Love is a choice, and you need to understand that, like, love isn't a feeling, right? That feeling is, maybe lust, maybe just that feeling of feeling something, right? But loving someone is a choice, and it's a choice, and you have free will to choose to love God or not. And obviously I chose and will choose and continue to choose to love God every single day and to glorify His name and all that I do, right? In bodybuilding and coaching and eating healthy, living a disciplined life is all for God, and to lead others to do the same, because you have to honor your temple, or you have to take care of your temple and honor God with it. And I will stand by that. But yeah, let me know what kind of videos I should make. Maybe more videos about God or whatever you guys want to hear. Comment below. This video is probably, like, I don't even know at this point, maybe 30 minutes, 40 minutes, something like that. Probably my longest video. But hope you guys enjoy the video. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.